Yo, what's going on guys? Rhys here from Stoic Pool, and in this episode of Catalyst Talk, I catch up with the team at CarPool to talk about their education and onboarding proposal for Catalyst. This is a really simple proposal that can have a huge impact on education and the basic crypto and kind of blockchain education that is needed so badly for new people to the ecosystem and is kind of missing, generally speaking. So it would be really good to have this proposal funded where they have a central point for people to go to learn about all the basics. Guys, you're going to absolutely love this. The team are so nice. They're just super nice people. I really enjoyed having a good chat with them. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
Bam. All right then, guys. So I'm joined with Mylinda and Fletcher here from CarPool. Do you guys want to just say hi and introduce yourselves, a little bit of background on you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Fletcher. I work with CarPool, which is also a stake pool, ticker Vroom. And then my background largely comes from the healthcare. I'm a nurse. I've been a trauma nurse, worked in intensive care, made my way to kind of the outpatient ambulatory. With me that entire way is an extensive passion for health and wellness, and I've always been a kind of a techie person. And took a little while, though. It was up until a few years ago that something really clicked around crypto and this technology. And since then, it's like I haven't been able to sleep.
Yeah, I know what that's like. All right. And Mylinda, so let's know a little bit about yourself.
My name is Mylinda. I am a strategist by trade. I've been in the seminar industry for about 20 years now, building out education systems inside of the seminar industry. I've been a speaker for 20 years and by trade, I'm a strategist. So what I do is I go into businesses and I help them fix themselves. Right. I got involved with cryptocurrency about 2 years ago, which was fascinating to me because I'm also a trader. That's how I actually make most of my money, because stock market, you can make a ton of money in that. When I started looking into cryptocurrency, it really reminded me of the tech bubble back in the 90s. You guys are way too young to remember that sort of a thing. But I got really interested in it. And then I started, when I met Fletcher, he started talking a lot about Cardano, and I'd already been invested in Cardano. So it was an easy thing for me to come over to really recognize what the cryptocurrency was really about, the blockchain and about the security. He introduced me to his idea and his concept of growing out, what we're here to talk about today, the proposal. It was very fascinating to me because I know that so many people don't understand exactly what cryptocurrency is and exactly what it's meant to do. So it's pretty exciting.
Cool. We did just lose you for it was only about 2 seconds.
Oh no.
So I think
we're actually in the middle of a rainstorm.
We'll just insert miscellaneous words when I edit. So we'll just see what comes up.
Okay.
But I get the idea. And to be honest, I think you're pretty brave trading, because that kind of thing just scares me. But I guess if you have some experience in like regular people markets or like just generally the stock market, then you have a bit more of a rational approach to crypto. And so you don't get kind of misled very easily. Like a lot of my friends started in crypto. And so for me, that's just like, oh my God, I wouldn't have any hair at this point if I was trying to trade crypto. I can see Fletcher's quite experienced in trading.
Yeah.
That's where the rest of it went. Yeah. And I got started trying to do that too early, and then, gone.
That's really cool. So Mylinda, basically you come in and you fix businesses. That's awesome.
I do.
That sounds like a super exciting job. Like the strategy kind of.
It's super exciting for me. Maybe not so much for the business owner that I'm working with.
Well, yeah. I kind of imagine you as like a female Gordon Ramsay. Do you know Gordon Ramsay?
Oh
like
my
you come
gosh,
in,
that's awesome.
sandwich on the head.
Yes.
What the? Yeah. That's it's a good image, right? That's why I think it's jokes. So
I'm okay with it because that's kind of the way that I am. I'm kind of harsh, but only because I want to tell the truth and get things going the correct way. So yeah,
that's cool.
You can call me that.
And Fletcher, working in healthcare, like as a nurse especially, is also another side of very stressful work. My sister's a midwife. And so I understand what working in a hospital can be like. And my uncle, actually, he's an ambulance driver and a paramedic. So yeah, pretty cool stuff, guys. You know, like most people come on and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I'm a software developer. That you both got some interesting stories, I bet. But we're not going to get into that today. It might come up later, all right? But so today, what we're actually talking about is your Catalyst proposal, which is CarPool Education and Onboarding System. So I don't know which of you would prefer to take the lead on that, but do you just want to introduce the kind of proposal and what you're trying to achieve with that?
Yeah, sure. Would be glad to. The CarPool Education and Onboarding System, we're really aiming to become the premier source of live interactive crypto learning for new and unexperienced users. And this is really the start. We recognize and in fact admire so many of the community's educators in the Cardano space, in the crypto space, who produce phenomenal video, podcast, printed material. What we would like to do, where we see a real need, is also to draw in new users into the ecosystem, orient them with the live interactive learning, this human touch, where they can field their questions and really connect and so help to allay some of that anxiety or fear that keeps them on the edges at this point, and then direct them and connect them with these other amazing resources to further their journey. And kind of starting the way we framed it in the proposal, starting from Basecamp Cardano.
Yeah, that's. I think a lot of people in crypto really overlook the very basic stuff. I remember when I did my first trade, when I first bought Bitcoin, and I moved it from one exchange to another, and I checked every single character in the byte string for the address, every single character. Yeah, like I was so nervous. It was like 20 quid or something like that. It's like nothing, you know, but it just, the idea of it getting it wrong stressed me out so much. And it's like, now I'm like, copy paste, you know, like don't care that much, you know. I'm just like, I just know how it works, and so I'm confident going in. But it definitely took a while for me to do that. And I remember waiting for my Bitcoin transfer. You guys have obviously sent Bitcoin before, so you know how it can sometimes take half an hour or an hour for a transfer. Oh my God. That was the longest half hour of my life, really. And I was like, oh my God, I've lost my 20 quid. It's gone forever. I've lost my 20 quid.
Especially on that network. Yes, totally.
It's so funny, like looking back at it now, because, but I completely understand like the need to actually bring people in and explain everything from the most basic level, because a lot of that is missing in crypto. Everyone's just like, yeah, DeFi, NFTs, tradable assets, you know, and anyone off the street would just be like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, so with this proposal, are you looking at providing like just a kind of course on Udemy, or are you going to be designing like a whole platform where people can just come to you and have it all done internally? Or what does the actual education look like?
Yeah, great question. So it's more the latter that you describe, actually building out an entire platform that is custom built. This is an area of Mylinda's expertise, actually, which has been such an amazing thing that we were connected through through a very good friend of ours. And after sharing the passion, the vision, a lot about Cardano, as naturally one of the favorite things I have to talk about, he introduced us, and then as she'll probably share, and she kind of alluded to before, something she really cares about is helping people as well. And so it resonated, and we just began that conversation, and she shared that this is an area of her expertise to build out a platform where, again, it will be that live human touch. You articulated it so well when you were describing that memory of what it was like actually in the beginning. And you don't hear that very often. I think coming into the space, it was like, everybody knows what they're doing. I have no idea. I'm terrified. Very similar experience at 100%. First. And it was very slow, like digging through information. And I'm the type that when I do something, I want to understand it, perhaps sometimes too much. I know there's others out there who are willing to kind of jump in courageously into certain things. But there's a lot, I think, who resonate with wanting to know their way, or at least have something I've found is in talking to a lot of people, is those who seem to advance more rapidly had somebody there either a family member, a sibling, showing them the way, saying, walk with me. Let me show you what this is. Don't worry about that. Everything is good, explaining it piece by piece. And that's really the experience we want to bring to folks. I've been working for the last many months in providing this type of education, kind of piloting out a number of different ways of delivering concepts and getting lots of feedback in terms of how helpful it was, and then seeing the fruits of that actually. And so that's helped to curate and create the content, this customized content that we delivered on the platform.
Perfect. That sounds really cool. So what is the scope of the education? Like, are you going into any kind of like stake pool operation? Are you going into wallet, just basic wallet stuff, or are you sticking with like high level stuff? Are you considering doing some like NFT minting course or anything like that? Like, let us know a little bit about that kind of stuff.
Mylinda's, yeah, she's probably, I imagine she's laughing because when we get to talking, I go all over the place. I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, okay, as a strategist, right?
Here's where we need to gotta lay it out.
Here's where we need to start. And that's also one of the brilliant things of having the team that has just, synergistically amazing. Kind of in awe of how we came together is the feedback that they can help to provide and help me to kind of come back and go, okay, these are the pieces that probably, if I, being brand new and sort of being on the outside, actually one of our other team members, especially, it's one of the things has a great deal of expertise in is perspective and keeping perspective and putting on perspective of a new learner, even where I can forget, what it was like, even though it's not that long ago. And so, yes, to a lot of those things, probably not at the start. So the start is really about that as immediately as possible. What we're aiming to do is onboard folks, new students who enter through this system will be receiving ADA and CNFT incentives for their participation. So pretty much right at the outset, we want to remove barriers to starting. So there's a few unique pieces about that. I don't think we're ready yet to talk about publicly, but that'll be obviously coming very soon. Exactly what that looks like. It's a bit innovative, and then we will offer some add-on.
I feel like you almost leaked a little bit of it then, didn't you?
Boy, I'm just like sifting through, trying to filter exactly how to say and describe these things, because it is really exciting. The folks who we've shared it with are really thrilled, looking forward to some of them even eager to participate. But yeah, you nailed it with a couple of the things you talked about. Creating wallets, it's really, where does somebody get started? And the principles that a lot of us speak about, understanding what an exchange is, why we often talk about moving those things off an exchange. In fact, I should back up a little bit further. Part of the philosophy here is that, we're at a point in time with this technology. In fact, you're probably familiar with the Atala Prism Pioneers program. There's some suggested reading in that program that's really profound. And there's a great book that is called Technology and the Virtues by Shannon Ballard. Yeah. Wow. She said everything so well in there. And that we're on this precipice with the technology, and we really, can be so overwhelming. Anything tech can go from somebody kind of following you until just almost instantly, like they're zoning out.
Yeah.
And so, but I feel it's really important, and we all do, that we understand the technology that we're looking at right now, because the decisions that are being made, we've heard other people in the space say something similar. We've heard others doing talks that this technology and the choices we hopefully collectively make will be sort of setting a path for the next several decades, possibly longer. And so we have this philosophy that we really want people to participate. I want people to become informed about what this technology is, what it's capable of, the things that actually, how it can empower so many right now. And so there's a piece of that, obviously the philosophy that's woven into the material. And so people really have a substantive understanding of why is crypto catching on? Why has it been around and it's sticking around and it's only growing? What is this technology? What are its implications to our everyday life? And then weaving in, of course, these basics of how to start a wallet, good security, alleviating those things that would otherwise kind of make it a little bit scary. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think actually that philosophy part is really important, because at the minute, a lot of crypto is just moon boys, right? And that's crypto's own biggest problem. And it basically creates much bigger cycles than need to be. And that has a knock-on effect, from my perspective, on the development of the technology as well, because you have extreme highs where everything's crazy, and that encourages people to build projects that are essentially meaningless and have no real direction. And then what happened?
I'm curious as well.
Oh, right. Okay. And I'm leaving that in. That was fun.
That's totally fine.
Yeah. So, and then you have extreme lows where projects that have achieved funding at a high suddenly have 10% of their original funding and need to try and survive 3 or 4 years before another big swing. And that is incredibly detrimental to the technology, because it prevents people from working on it. And that in and of itself needs a reset from my perspective. And if you guys can help figure that out, then you'll be doing a huge service to the community, and that'd be amazing.
Well, that's the biggest challenge that I can see on the outside of being as a trader and trading cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah, it's all your fault.
It's a volatile.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a super volatile system that we're looking at. I mean, it's following the same trends and patterns as tech stocks are. So if you look at the charting for any of the cryptocurrencies, you have the meme stocks that are going all around, and that would be like the Doge and the Shiba Inu, and it's fascinating to look at the charting behind it. And now you're looking at people who have no idea. First of all, they don't even understand what cryptocurrency actually is. They don't understand the necessity for it. I talk to people about cryptocurrency quite frequently because they go, how can you trade that? It's so volatile. And I said, it's just like trading the stock market, quite frankly. And when I referred to it as the tech bubble, in the 90s, that's exactly what we're looking at. And people are skeptical and they're afraid, because when most people, and I can say this even about myself, when I first got involved, well, for years before getting involved with cryptocurrency, I was like, why would I ever buy something like that? Like, it's nothing. Like, I'm going to buy something that's actually nothing. And until people understand the technology behind it and the usefulness behind it, that's when things will really begin to change. But until then, people are just looking at it, just like you said, like they're the rocket boys, they're the meme stock guys, and you're seeing these extreme highs and lows. And until the education gets out there and people are able to learn the right way to hold or even trade, even if they just wanted to trade cryptocurrency, it will make a giant difference. But the education's not there. People don't understand what it is. Most people still think that it's really nothing. Even when, Joe Biden signs an executive order that says, hey, we're getting involved in this. Yeah. People still don't understand what it is. So I really feel as though this is something that everyone needs, not just people that are trading or people that are already invested in cryptocurrency, but really the masses of people that are out there that just don't understand it, because we live in a world of technological age that there's way too much information. So you can go out there and search for something, but how do you know if it's correct and how do you know if it's wrong? Yeah. So we really want to build out something that we will get a following with, and we will set a precedence as to what it is that people really need to know about cryptocurrency and really how to do things the right way.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think there's you guys, you both kind of understand where I'm coming from when I say this, that a lot of professions and a lot of niches and like things within any kind of technical profession often try to overcomplicate stuff. So like I'm a personal trainer. I do gymnastics. All right. But I always tell people like fitness professionals love to make stuff sound insanely complicated. Oh yeah, hypertrophy, yeah, sagittal plane, blah blah blah. Like I always tell people, fitness is super basic. All right, don't worry about nutrition. What you got to do is turn up, and you got 5 movements that your body does. Actually, there's 7, but 5. Honestly, 5's enough. Don't worry about the other 2; they're rubbish. And you do those 5 movement patterns, and you train your whole body, and that's it. That's fitness, right? Turn up, do the things, right? And it's the same with crypto. They like all these crazy buzzwords. They like to talk in like some weird, it's like an alien language. Mylinda, it's exactly the same in trading, when they're on about different chart patterns and different, and as a nurse, you get it in because all of the biological stuff is just another level. Why would they do it in Latin? Just do it in English, mate.
And nurses can definitely relate to walking into a patient's room right after a physician has often been in there or somebody else. And the patient's like, we see this confused look on their face.
Yeah.
You understand what they said? No. We're like, okay, let's
start over. Let me break it down for you. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly,
very
right,
regular
this
language.
Is so important in crypto for the exact same reason, right? And you all know what I mean by this. If you can take something that on the surface seems really complicated, but actually is just these new words that mean very basic like ideas, then you can teach people, you can teach anyone everything. And that's the power. And that's kind of what you're trying to provide to the community, isn't it? You're trying to take super complex ideas and distill it into like 2 or 3 sentences, essentially, that people can just go, oh, I know what you mean now. I get that. Yeah. Oh, it's just 24 words that I use. It's just a 24-word password. That's right. That's what your seed phrase is. Oh, perfect. And that just removes all the complexity. And I think that's missing from a lot of crypto education, definitely, because everyone wants to sound smart.
Yeah. Well, and frankly, many of them are. I mean, extremely. Some of the most intelligent people I've ever met and had the privilege to listen to have come through, my exposure to particularly the Cardano space, since we're so, the research and evidence base really draws that crowd that are that savvy, that smart,
and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yep,
it just has that barrier to entry for the general population, which creates an obstacle, right? It does create an obstacle, and that's kind of what this education's aiming to overcome.
Exactly. Absolutely. I've shared so many videos with like family, or I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to just check out this part. I go, what in this did you want me to get? Because I didn't get any of it. I'm like, dang it. Okay. I realize how deep I am now. Okay. So then we have a conversation over the phone instead of sending them the video. They're like, that was so much better. Now I understand, what that was about.
My girlfriend sits here and works, right? And I talked with people like you guys about crypto all day, right? When I'm not teaching people handstands. And she knows a bunch of words. She has no idea what they mean. And she was trying to explain to her mum, oh, no, someone at her work, right? She works at a bank. Yeah. She's trying to explain to someone what it was that I did in crypto. And she was like, just didn't understand it enough. She was like, if she just used the buzzwords, she could have explained it perfectly. And anyone who was in crypto would understand. But because she was talking to someone outside of crypto and she only knew the buzzwords, she didn't really understand it at like that next level down. She couldn't explain it. And so it was like, it must have been the most awkward conversation. I'm so gutted I missed it, right? But it's hard to explain without having that understanding, that extra level, And cool. That's the
best part about our team is that when I first started working with Fletcher, one of the things that we emphasized was it's very important for us to have team members that are not inside of the crypto world, not inside of the trading world. And then to build out inside of the platform, being able to reach out to the students that actually do come through the program, because the courses aren't meant for us. It's not meant for any of the instructors. The courses are meant for the people, any student that wants to come through. So I'm going to say that as we grow as a education company, you'll see that the classes will change quite frequently because based on what people need to know, not on what we need to teach. Because I can teach on charting patterns all day long. Does anybody really want to know anything about that? Probably not. They might want to know the basics, but they don't want to get into the nitty gritty and the different, lines that you can put on a chart, or, Bollinger Bands and things like that. They don't want to hear about that. They actually want to know, how could I make money? What do I invest in? How do I create a wallet? And how am I able to spend this money when I make it? Like, those are basic questions that nobody's really answering. And there's so much information out there that it's just not getting to the people to even be able to start to invest, let alone really, really grasp the concept of. So I love that we have that working, community in our team, that we really, really heavily rely on the people that are not, well versed in the language that cryptocurrency traders use, or even traders use.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mylinda, for explaining. And I completely agree with what you're saying as well. Like, not everyone needs to worry about all the details of charts, right? Although it might be quite interesting to learn now that you're actually offering that. So let's have a look at the scope of works. All right. And first off, how much are you requesting for your proposal?
We're asking for 75,000.
Perfect. And with that money, how much of an educational program are you providing? That obviously some's going to go to the platform, development and stuff like that. But is there certain modules that you're getting in like phase 1, for example, and then moving on to another phase after the fact? Because you mentioned that before.
Yes. So there will actually be a course that is already pretty well developed at this point. There's still some finer details to be completed, but there is a course already complete. A significant portion of the funding actually goes into building the platform and marketing. Yeah, this is an area.
Oh, I forgot about marketing. That's huge.
Yeah, so the marketing is the biggest. The biggest chunk of the money is going to that, because we are marketing to people who are not necessarily inside of CarPool, or inside of Cardano or CarPool for that matter. So
Delegate to CarPool. I got you guys. I got you.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's mostly marketing and building out the platform. The platform will be a members area, obviously, but it's also a community that we really want to build out here. And that community is where people are able to talk to one another, because as you know, like you just talked about your girlfriend. So she sits there, she hears you. But investing in cryptocurrency is a lonely thing, because unless your significant other knows exactly what you're doing and is investing as well, you're kind of on your own. So the community sense of building out a school or an education system is something that most people, they may not need the education, but they just want that community, because if everybody has the same base of knowledge, they're able to speak to one another in their own language, right? And they'll relate to one another. So if there is a big shift or a downturn in the market, it's okay, because we all know that it's going to come right back up again. So it's a fascinating thing. When Fletcher actually introduced me to his concept, that community inside of the school, inside of the education, is probably, in my opinion, something that's even greater than the education itself, because to have that support behind you is something that most people just don't have inside of their own personal lives and their family lives, even in their work lives. People don't know what you're talking about. So it's really, really great to have other people to discuss, what's going on and what you're doing, what you're investing in, how you're doing it. It's a pretty phenomenal concept.
I think that community hub is like a really important part of that support system. And one of the beauties of this is like there are other community hubs and stuff trying to form as through Catalyst. Yeah. But what you're actually proposing is something that's much easier to scale, because it can be global just off the bat, because it's a platform, right? Like a platform on the internet. Anyone with a URL can visit. And that's very powerful, because it's very hard sometimes to build a community hub. Like I live in the center of London. It would be difficult for me to set up an event. It just would, right? And I appreciate that people try and do that. And a lot of them have huge success with it, and all the better for them. But you guys building a platform, like an online platform, means you have a much better reach right off the bat, because you can be accessing people not just in America or the UK or Europe. You can hit Australia, you can hit Africa, you can hit other parts of Europe and through Asia. And there's no limit to the kind of people you can attract from anywhere in the world. And it, like you say, it can be very lonely, right? And if you have a network of people like me as an SBO, right? The reason I'm so involved with SBOs is because I can actually talk to SBOs and I'm connected with them. Yeah. But when I started my pool, I didn't know any SBOs. It was bloody lonely. And I was trying to figure stuff out and I was trying to learn things. And there was a handful of people who I could communicate with, and they all worked in cybersecurity. They weren't stake pool operators. Yeah. And they were the people who I was harassing for information, right? Which is all right, but it doesn't offer that kind of support. And realistically, since I've really found that support system within the Cardano community, it's just I've gone from one to the thing to the next to the next to the next, and it's amazing what that little network can do for you. And I'm really happy that that's something you're aiming to provide, because it goes well beyond the scope of just teaching someone something. Right. You provide them something that lasts and something that's powerful.
Yeah. That, several things kind of stand out to me as you're describing that come to mind is this experience I've also had similar, where there's that lonely piece. And then once you do start to make these connections, there's also, seems like there's a kind of a spirit of warm introductions that begin to happen as you start to meet people in the Cardano community. I've been a part of other communities. I didn't quite experience it, not saying that it may not be there. I just didn't find it to be the same experience. And in a like manner, CarPool really wants to provide that same type of thing. I actually look carefully at, I try to, our space is expanding so fast, but to keep up with what's happening and see those that are, have expertise and a passion for certain types of areas. I hope to incorporate health and well-being in some capacity into Cardano at some point. That's not obviously the immediate mission here with CarPool at the moment, but that warm handoff of going, okay, these other resources exist. We don't need to reinvent those. We just want to be that person that goes, hey, I want to introduce you to, you love this, you're passionate about this, you really like that. Let me introduce you over here and introduce you over here. One of the first things we, as Mylinda explained about marketing, and she helped me become very aware of with an education company, how careful, how attentive we need to be to that particular piece to make a sustainable operation. A piece of this, which I think Cardano is one of the best communities to probably do this, because we have we're already looking at the system is built so synergistically, where there's these symbiotic relationships. We're looking for win-wins already. And so that kind of perspective, I think, really lends to giving us the best chance of being very successful, because we are looking for how to create wins. More affiliate programs or partnerships and alliances and ways to, again, create that one-of-a-kind experience for somebody coming into the space where they feel just, many already speak about the warm welcome they get, and just enhancing that even further for those who are on the edges and are, weary of coming in.
Yeah. And it can be daunting, right? It is definitely, well, we all know it is very daunting, but I completely agree. I found that Cardano, especially a year and a half, 2 years ago, it wasn't as big. It was basically just stake pool operators and people who are aggressively following Cardano specifically, and with NFTs, it's expanded massively. With dApps and smart contracts rolling out, again, it's expanded massively. And with the recent market madness, it's also expanded rapidly as well. Just last year, it was huge. And so there's a much bigger network now to kind of tap into as well. And the more I kind of spend time on Twitter, the more craziness I find, people from all kinds of walks of life, it's insane. But there is this general kind of vibe around everyone where we all want to help each other and we want to build, I get people reaching out to me about Catalyst because I'm the circle rep. I get people reaching out to me about finding developers for stuff because of some projects I'm working on. And it's a really cool environment where, my DM's always open. at me on Twitter, message me here, just don't say hello, because then I think you're a spammer. Like, I think you're trying to, but as long as you actually have a couple of sentences that explain who you are, like, we're cool, we can be mates, right? And I kind of get that vibe from you guys as well. And that's really awesome. But that's just like a Cardano thing as well. It's not like some other blockchains where it's very like, oh, you can't, what do you mean? Talk to me. And everyone's very self-important and like, put themselves on a pedestal a little bit, I think. But mate, it's awesome. I think this is a huge gap. I think this is really needed. And I think I'm glad you guys are actually putting it together, because it can just take the Cardano ecosystem to the next level. And that's really needed, especially with just basic kind of security and education on the blockchain is so important. So,
thank you very much. I want to,
go.
Maybe this would come up again a little bit later, but I just realized I kind of briefly mentioned it, and I'd like to say a little bit more about it. One of the first, this is where I'm trying to be careful exactly how to speak about it, because it has a couple of those details that we're not quite ready to talk about, but one of the first affiliate programs that is really important to me, near and dear as a stake pool operator, and having received so much from others helping me along the way, as you kind of described, our community and seeking each other for support and learning and growing together, is an affiliate program that would also benefit other stake pool operators. So as we welcome people into the ecosystem, a very important part of that welcome is wallets and delegation. And so wanting to create an opportunity where everybody can feel like they have ownership in CarPool and going, hey, you're brand new, check this out. And for that type of referral, there is a mechanism that Mylinda is working on and knowing how to build, where it'll basically be an affiliate program where this stuff then pipes back to, the respective pool that are making these referrals, that are welcoming people into the system. And so anyhow.
Yeah, that's all a part of that community, right? So we don't just want to build a community and then filter people inside of Cardano into that ecosystem. We actually want to build a community with everyone that's already existing, all the other stake pool holders, everyone that's there, because if we all have that sense of like full on community, it makes it a lot easier for people to, be happy. I hate to put it in like those simple terms, but like if I can help you as a stake pool, owner, and you can help me, why wouldn't we do that? I mean,
exactly.
That's what the thing is.
It's so obvious, right? And yet, for some reason, and other places, any spaces or any other places, that kind of support it doesn't exist. It seems like everyone just wants to work in an isolated environment, and no, don't let them in because they want something. Don't let them in, and everyone seems to feel like everyone has these ulterior motives, but that doesn't really. I don't really see that very often in Cardano. It's more like, mate, I love the work you're doing. How can I help? Like, what can I do to help support that? Yeah. What can I do to bring people in? And it goes everywhere from the people who do spaces like ADA Cafe. It goes the same with Catalyst. You can reach out to anyone and they'll give you some time. It's how I've met a lot of people in the space, and it's just it's a no-brainer, right? If we work together, everyone wins. And just like Fletcher said, that win-win-win. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an entire worldview shift. I mean, those of us who are here experience it, and maybe we were, it could be argued that maybe we were sort of attracted to it because we may have had a propensity for that in some capacity already, or, sort of a leaning towards that. But I've asked people, are you happy? Are you content with the state of the world? Is it the way you'd like it to be, the way you dreamed it to be? Most of the time, the answer is no. I'm like, okay, so how many friends, family, people you might just run into on a daily basis would you ask and maybe get a different answer? None. Okay. So if it's that, almost that unanimous, at least within our spheres of influence, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
Join us. It takes a little bit of courage. Totally, recognize that. And here we are with an extended hand. Well, let's learn together. Let us show you. And we do it in the safest way possible with this system, where they're committing to very little. And yet we have a way to get them incentivized into the system where then the choice is back in their hands, but they're a lot further along. And now there's a lot of reasons to continue stepping forward.
I want to know these secrets, guys.
Yeah.
You like almost say stuff and then you just smile to yourself like, whoo, it's going to be fun, you know, and that's all I'm saying.
I know, man, I know. Yeah. I watch other people do it fairly well. I'm not so sure I'm pulling it off, but I'll get practice.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. I think half the time people don't know what the thing is that they're hiding, sometimes. Okay, brilliant. Well, there were gentle and inspiring words from both of you, and I really appreciate that. I think that's I think it's just a perfect fit. I think you have a massive effect on the ecosystem as a whole. So before we close out, is there anything that I didn't bring up that you guys want to mention, or any secrets you want to share with me? I won't tell anyone.
I'll wait till that red light goes away and then maybe so.
Okay. All right. See you later, guys. Bye. Is there anything else that you want to mention? Anywhere other people can reach out to you or anything like that might be worth mentioning while we have the time?
Sure. Well, I definitely following us on Twitter. It's funny hearing myself say that because several years ago steered clear of Twitter, but it is an amazing way to connect with this community in particular, to kind of stay apprised, up to date on these types of things. And it's probably going to be one of the primary social media channels that we use. We'll be developing out the others. We have reserved spaces for CarPool to have a social media presence and on a number of other platforms. And so there'll be communication through that. We do have a website that's under development. There's some pieces there, carpoolcrypto.com, and then at CarPool Crypto for Twitter. That's a great way to connect with us and bring your questions and keep an eye on us.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll share all the links to their proposal and to their social media profiles, respective social media profiles as well, just down below, guys. So just click below to check that out. Otherwise, guys, there was actually one thing that I was just thinking then. With the actual course content, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's going to be some videos and some written stuff. But what are you going to do is there going to be any form of assessments or anything like that so people can leave with like an NFT? Why are you laughing at me?
You're pulling it out.
Damn secrets.
Yes. There will be checks on learning.
Spoiler alert.
And it's designed to be as engaging and fun as possible. With each of the materials, some of it is where it's important for people to have understanding. Obviously, some of it is a little serious, but there's also levity, as you may have gotten a sense of us along, during this course of this conversation. And there's definitely supplemental material to enhance and
just a casual Atala Prism program.
There'll be supplemental material to accompany each of the courses, all the material that they would also then be able to engage with in live interactive.
Awesome
classes. Yeah,
perfect. Sorry, I just had to ask that on the closeout because it's nice to know. It's nice to have something for your hard work, and even though that might just be learning how to open a wallet or learning how to stake at the very most basic level, it's still nice to get something that proved you did it. Like I was thinking about when I was learning to swim as a kid, and did you guys ever do like swimming lessons when you were a kid and you had to get the little badges from swimming so far, like 50-meter swim, 100-meter swim? I used to love them. That was it. That was the whole point I went swimming, was to get those badges and stick them on my towel.
Yeah. Can
That's
relate.
my achievement in life.
Awesome. You have lots of badges. We're proud of you.
Yeah. So now I want a CarPool badge for passing your course.
Yes, you're zeroing in on it. There are
You're going to get elements that
of it
and more.
for sure. Yes.
Perfect. Awesome, guys. I'm really excited for this proposal. I've said it a bunch of times, so I'm not gonna repeat myself. Guys,
You can
definitely
say
go and check
over
it
and
out.
over and over again and tell everyone how excited
Each time
you
you
are
say it, I
about
feel
it.
my own excitement again and again and again. Yeah.
I just, it's such an obvious thing, but it's not here. Like, it's not, why isn't it here already? So guys, if there's anything you need from me to help get this done, you know, if there's anything that I can do to help spread the word outside of this, like very, very brief interview, if there's any people I can connect you with or anything, feel free just to let me know, because I'll do whatever I can to help get this past funding. All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it from both of you. Thanks for putting up with me. I know I can be a bit of a pain sometimes.
Not at all.
But yeah, anyway.
Next time I'm out in England visiting my extended family. We'll have to,
come. Yeah, let us know. You got, if you're in
I actually
London,
don't know anybody
know.
in London, but so that'll be
now
make it easier
do.
to stay in London.
Got an excuse to come. We got dim sum. We got Indian. We got everything. We got everything you need. It's London. Yeah.
London. It's fabulous. I spent a lot of time over there over the years.
Yeah.
I love it.
We got salsa night. You can come out of salsa with Danny
Excellent.
and me. Love a bit of salsa. So.
Fantastic.
And chips.
Plenty of stuff.
I'm just kidding. I know what you're talking about.
Well, you know, they have chips as well.
Oh yeah, actually, now we're talking two different types of chips. I realize, but possibly.
Listen, guys, thank you so much again.
I appreciate
it. I'm gonna do an outro separately, but thank you so much for joining, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Right, guys, that's it for this video. If you like what you've seen, make sure to go and vote for CarPool in the upcoming Fund 8 voting. If you haven't already, make sure you've registered and sign up in the Catalyst app. If you like what you've seen, as always, give us a like, subscribe for more Cardano and Stoic related videos every week. Leave any questions or comments you got in the box below, and I will catch up with you in the next one. See you then.